There's collateral damage, and then there's collateral carnage. Last week we told you about thousands of bumblebees that died in Oregon. Conservationists blamed neonicotinoid pesticides for the deaths, and in response the state recently restricted their usage. But that news won't give much comfort to Dave Schuit, a beekeeper in Elmwood, Ontario. He estimates that tens of millions of his bees have died, and he's blaming the same pesticides. We reached Dave Schuit at his farm in Elmwood.
Hello, Dave Schuit.
Yes, good day. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for joining us. Could you tell us about this massive loss of bees on your farm?
Well, coming in from last year, when they started planting corn, we lost millions and millions of bees. It was just hard to calculate the number of hives we lost. Some yards, 50 to 95% fatality rate.
So how did you first discover this? Did you just start seeing empty hives?
Last year, we connected with, when they're planting corn, that the residue of the powder comes into the atmosphere and it lands on the flowers, and the bees are an insect, and then the chemicals are to kill the insects, and that's why we connected with that.
These are the neonicotinoid pesticides.
That is correct. And underneath that, there's 25 other chemicals underneath that, and one of the use in the corn is the Poncho 600.
So just situate us here. Your farm, is it surrounded by cornfield?
That is correct. We had 600 acres of corn around my organic farm.
And so when they start planting, they start applying these neonicotinoid pesticides, and then every year your fatality rate is getting higher.
That's correct. When I started out about 25 years ago as a hobbyist beekeeper, I could have my queens last for years and years. Now I've got a queen that doesn't even last for a year.
So how many bees in total would your operation have today if it was operating properly?
Well, we're just over 700 hives now. We should be around 2,000 hives.
So 2,000 hives, and how many bees per hive?
If you got a good hive, you're looking at between 80,000 90,000 bees per hive. And if you got a good queen laying, she lays at 2,000 to 3,000 eggs a day.
Okay, so you should be operating up in the tens of millions of bees.
That is correct.
How many bees would you estimate have died during this corn planting season?
In the millions. See, the problem is with this chemical, it's the lifetime of it is very long, and the bees are dying throughout the summer. What's happening is other bees are picking up the ones that are affected by this chemical. They carry them off because they don't want to leave any dead carcasses around, because it causes other predators to come, like skunks, come in and say this is a source of food for them.
So I just want to be clear here. The bees themselves are carrying off the other dead bees?
It's unbelievable, but they do. They'll actually carry another carcass insect out away from the hive. So the hive is always kept sanitary.
You would think if so many millions of bees have died, they would just be thick on the ground. What does it look like at your farm now?
Well, when they were dying, we had like 4 or 5 feet of dead bees. Now, when I say they're dead, first of all, what's happening is they get paralyzed. One leg after leg gets paralyzed, and then what's happening is the wings start to paralyze, so they can't fly no more, and they go in circles, and then they're in terrible agony. Their tongues are sticking out. The venom's dropping out of their backside. They can't hold themselves, and then they die.
It must be just horrible to watch.
I must say we did cry.
And so then a radius of 4 or 5 feet out from the hives is just covered in dead bees.
That's correct.
Now, tell us about the effect of this bee loss on you and on your business.
We basically have half production. It's affected us financially. We have the honey house where we do our extracting, but we sold our farm because we thought this continues on. There's no way we're able to make mortgage payments with there's no bees, no honey, no money.
So you sold your farm?
We sold our farm.
So where are you living?
We live upstairs above the honey house.
Is there any kind of insurance you can tap into?
No, there's not. And the thing is, I'm not out there to look out for government funding. I'm looking out there for the government to show leadership that would ban this chemical that wouldn't hurt the bees, hurt the environment.
Now, I understand that you have sent the dead bees in for testing. Is that right?
That's right. 70% of the bees have been tested with the neonicotinoids.
So there's been a definite link established between the pesticides being used for the corn and the death of your bees.
That's 100% right. Why are we not banning this product? In Europe, they banned it now for 2 years because they know what's happening. So what I don't understand is why is not the government stepping up and say, you know what, we made a mistake, let's get this chemical off the market.
What have you been doing to try to get that ban?
Well, we went to Ottawa last year to standing committee, and basically we're told, prove it, we'll ban it.
Well, it sure sounds like you've proved it.
Pictures don't lie, videos don't lie. Documentation's there, the proof is there, these chemicals are there, very detrimental to bees.
Well, Mr. Schuit, we appreciate your time today. Good luck with this.
Well, we appreciate your interest in this.
Thank you once again. Goodbye now.
Bye-bye.